Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of Soldiers Talk the Podcast. I'm your host, Staff Sergeant McPherson, and on this show we discuss military topics with current and prior service members. Okay, today I'm gonna basically tell you guys uh go through why is Russia invading Ukraine. So this is a subject that I was gonna let you guys know. So far as why is Russia invading Ukraine? So a lot of people they got a lot of speculations on why is happening and what's actually going on. So I'm just gonna give you guys some clarity on what's actually happening. So basically December 1st, 1991 is when Ukraine became independent. So uh Russia basically the Soviet Union consisted of 15 republics, and Ukraine and Russia was a part of that. So the Soviet Union was basically one of the considered one of the largest countries in the world. Well, it was the largest country in the world, and um, after World War II, it was basically like a superpower. So, but after a lot of repression and economic failure, the Soviet Union fell. So a lot of people also don't notice that, but most of the people in Ukraine are Russians. So as you can see right here, the surrounding countries of Ukraine is Russia, Belarus, Poland, Romania, and the capital of Ukraine is Kyiv. So this is what this is when um Ukraine became independent and basically uh had the right became and took control and had the rights of his own territory. So this is was when the Soviet Union failed in 1991. So uh I would say not long after that in 1991 was when the Budapest Memorandum was signed. So the Budapest Memorandum is basically a memorandum on security assurance, and it was signed in 1994. So it was signed following Ukraine's agreement to transfer all their nuclear weapons from the Cold War to the Russian Federation. So prior to the Budapest Memorandum, Ukraine had control of probably the largest stockpile of nuclear weapons in the world. So uh, all the countries that signed this Budapest Memorandum was uh, Russia, UK, and the USA. So we signed it in 1994. As you can see right there in the middle, Bill Clinton was the president at the time when this memorandum was signed. And this memorandum was basically to support Ukraine if anything was to happen. Um, so all the stuff that's going on right now, as far as Vladimir Putin and what's going on and why he's invading Russia, is basically a direct violation of this Budapest Memorandum. And again, it's another reason on why we're actually over there supporting Ukraine. Uh, we're keeping our word, and our support is very limited to what we're doing. So we of course support Ukraine financially. We let them use some of our military equipment, and we also provide them with training. Uh, so that's basically us holding our part of this memorandum. So, like I was saying, once this was signed and all Ukraine's nuclear weapons was basically uh gave to Russia. Um, this also right here, this is what also committed to Ukraine sovereignty and its rights to its territory. So right here is basically this memorandum was basically making after this. Hold on, after this. So this happened after the fact that they agreed to give all their nuclear weapons to transfer all their nuclear weapons from the Cold War to the Russian Federation. So this happened after that. So um making Ukraine uh, a non-nuclear state, and it basically became a part of the NPT, which is a non-proliferation treaty. So the NPT, the non-proliferation treaty, is basically a legal binding document that recognizes only five countries as legitimate holders of nuclear weapons. So um, that treaty recognizes the U.S., China, Russia, France, and the UK as the only five countries that holds nuclear weapons. So, like I was saying, so this Budapest memorandum is basically to support Ukraine if in times of that they need any type of support. So Yushchenko and Yanukovych. So these two guys right here ran for president of Ukraine. So uh they ran for president. One of the guys is actually for Russia, and the other guy is actually for Ukraine. So anything in support of Russia, I want to say Yanukovych, the guy with the blue tie, and Yan Yushchenko, the guy with the red tie. The guy with the blue tie is actually in support of Russia. So they both ran for president of Ukraine. Um, uh, Yanukovych, he wanted to orient Ukraine towards Russia. So of course people didn't like that. So once both of these guys ran for president, it was basically a fraudulent type campaign. The guy with the red tie actually ended up getting poisoned during the campaign, and the other guy won. Of course, it was kind of backlash to that because they knew something was going on, and they started to orient Ukraine toward Russia. So it was a big, wide protest going on. Big protest going on. A lot of people died during this protest. Uh, and eventually it led to the guy with the blue tie fleeing Ukraine, heading back to Russia. So and that was in 2010 when the guy ran again and won. So all of this is basically to all I feel like all of this was basically to be a part. They want to be Russia wants to seize Ukraine in some type of way. So yeah, like I was saying, there was a lot of protests going on, and Ukraine ended up getting new leadership and starts to orient Ukraine back towards the European Union. So that's where that big confusion was at, as far as the government in Ukraine. So right here, Russia seizes Crimea, and Vladimir Putin issues demand to NATO. So this is the big deal right here. So this is why uh, I feel like the war is going on right now. Uh, Vladimir Putin, he wants to be a part of NATO. So a lot of people don't know, but in order to be a part of NATO, you got to be issued a map, which is a membership action plan. You got to be offered a map, and then you'll be offered membership into NATO. So uh, NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the NATO consists of 28 European countries and two North American countries. So that's basically the whole North Atlantic area. So um yeah, so that's so like I was saying, Russia seizes Crimea. So uh Crimea is a part of Ukraine, and they surrounded Crimea. Uh, Russian troops surrounded Crimea to seize it. This was before they started to get troops on the border of Ukraine. So um, they surrounded. They well, not surrounded. They put troops on the peninsula of Crimea to seize it. Basically, they annexed Crimea. So annexation is when is forcible acquisition of one state territory by another state, usually following military occupation of the territory. So if if just say if China starts to if China surrounds Hawaii or an island that belongs to the US, if China troops, if China surrounded that island, they seize that island and starts to occupy that island with their military, they basically can annex that land. They can sign a treaty of annexation, basically taking over Hawaii. So Hawaii would then be a part of uh um China, basically. So that would could happen. That's how war works. So yeah, they annex Crimea and Putin issues demands to NATO. So you guys, so this is what's basically going on. Of course, Vladimir Putin signed the Treaty of Annexation in Crimea uh with the Moscow government, and that's just what happened. He took control over Crimea, which is still a part of Ukraine. So that's just what he wants to do with Ukraine all in itself. He wants to seize Ukraine. I feel like therefore he will have a better chance of being part of NATO. So that's what it is. I feel like he just want to annex Ukraine. He want to take basically he wants it to be a part of Russia. So because he still feels like Russia is a part of Ukraine because Ukraine was actually offered a map to be a part of NATO, but the Biden administration rejected it. So, and they rejected it. And Vladimir Putin actually that was in favor of him because he don't want Ukraine to be a part of NATO. He's because he feels that Russia and Ukraine are still together, still one people. So let me know what you guys think about the situation. Let me know if I'm missing anything. Let me know if you guys liking the content. Also, make sure you guys like this video. I see you guys next time, and this has been another episode of Soulja Talk the podcast. And I see you guys in formation.